So you guys, first and foremost, I just want to absolutely welcome you to tonight. It is a privilege and a pleasure that I get to be the host and introducing not only my amazing colleagues and friends and mentors to all of you and really understanding why we are all here tonight to truly seek better health. Because I know for each and every one of us, we're always looking like, how can I have better health? How can I advance my knowledge, right? How can I improve either my practice or maybe I'm just curious about what people are talking about of this new technology of activation that these four doctors are going to share with me tonight. Like, what do I not know that I should know? That's what you should be asking yourself. So I think each and every one of you guys understand that we are here as doctors, practitioners, wellness people, people that want to be in elevated health, because first and foremost, we want to help people. And that's our ultimate mission, is that we're always here because we want to be able to serve. And now we know that we can help people at a deeper level than ever before, truly at the cellular and the genetic level. And that's really what we're going to get into tonight. So what these individuals are going to share with you, I want to let you guys know that this is going to elevate your world of wellness. And so I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're curious. And I'm so glad that you're really like, well, what's in it for me? That's really why you guys are here, right? We're going to give you deep dive science, but you're really like, what am I going to get out of this? Well, I want you guys to know that be open to new advancements in health, maybe things that you didn't know before. But before we kick off, I'm going to introduce these four beautiful individual people as we go through this presentation, because yes, they are this expert panel that is absolutely extraordinary. But not only are they amazing doctors, incredible mentors, they are servant heart leaders. They are the most compassionate and caring people I know. And honestly, I am so blessed to call each and every one of them my friend. So without further ado, I'm going to do a quick introduction. Obviously, you guys' names on the screen, so you can say a hello. But I have to give you guys a formal introduction because those of you that are on this call tonight came to know, like, who am I really hearing from? Is this really legit? What are their credentials? I'm not really sure. You might be asking all of this, or you might be like, well, I'm kind of taking these products, but why? What's the science behind them and what's so different about them? You are going to learn. And yes, we know the science, the research, what is back behind these products is incredible, and the science of activation. But what I really want you to understand is the people behind it have the biggest heart ever and credentials that are going to blow you away. So Dr. Nancy Bryan, first and foremost, has a BS in pharma. She's a doctor of pharmacology, as well as has her master's in molecular biochemistry. She's also a PhD in pharmacology and a veterinarian and human medicinal and nutritional formulator. Additionally, her certifications include diabetic educator, certified geriatric counseling, certified veterinarian and zoo and human compounding, nutrigenomics educator, and a pharmacokinetics educator. Dr. Nancy's on the LifeVantage Science Advisory Board and a formulator. Next, we have Dr. Jessica Bueller. Dr. Jessica is married to her amazing husband, Matt, and has 5 children, owns her own chiropractic business in rural central South Dakota. She has her doctorate in chiropractic with additional certifications, advanced certifications in acupuncture and NAT, which is an allergy elimination technique. She's partnered with LifeVantage in 2017 and currently serves on their scientific advisory board. She's internationally curious, intentionally curious, and always looking for ways to improve health naturally. She is passionate about this technology and empowering others to take control of their health and their life. Such a blessing. We have Dr. Brett Brimhall. Dr. Brett has been a chiropractor in private practice for over 25 years. He has found his passion in nutrition and wellness, seeking every opportunity to gain more knowledge on these topics. Additionally, he has shared that his knowledge in teaching and training other physicians for the past 25 years all over the world. Dr. Brett is also an author, and Brett is not only a top medical provider, but he is so passionate about wellness and healing the body. You guys, are you getting the theme of all of this? All right, here's our fourth superstar. Dr. Sveta Silverman, which I love so much, former pediatric surgeon from the USSR and now a breast pathologist upon graduating from the University of Alberta Medical School and Residency. She completed her fellowship with the American Academy in Anti-Aging, Metabolic, and Functional Medicine. She has published over 13 peer-reviewed studies and has presented at the International Nrf2 Conference. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you are in the hands of greatness. All right, as we get started, let me give you a roadmap. Like, why are we here? Where are we going? This is what I want to make sure that you guys really have a clear understanding of why you're here tonight, because the title is Activate to Elevate. You're going to learn about the technology of activation to elevate your health. So I'm going to walk you through just a 2-minute story, and then Dr. Nancy Bryan is going to kick us off with activation and why you're here. This story, I was inspired by Dr. Dondi Nettles, another incredible doctor in the LifeVantage family. What I want to ask you guys is 10 or 20 years ago, you probably were walking the path for you or your clients thinking they would be in the fate of their family's history. You would be in the fate of your family history. I thought I would be in the fate of my family's medical history, a history of cancer in my family, right? A history of heart disease in my family. And I thought, gosh, I just better take care of myself to hopefully not fall down that same path. Well, the Human Genome Project was discovered. We've now mapped our genes, and we found that actually what's so interesting is your genes are no longer your fate. And I'm sure you know that. But what's widely known now is how we can change that is through lifestyle, diet, exercise, sleep, nutrition, and supplementation. But we went from supplementation to targeted supplementation. And if we ended the story there, we would all be well, thriving, vibrant, and feel amazing. But what we're realizing is we're still not. Well, introducing to you the solution to what we've been looking for is the solution of activation that can help us activate the genes and turn on our good genes and turn off our bad genes, which we never knew we could do before. So if you think you're just looking for the newest supplement, is it like a better, cleaner product? Is it more hydrolyzed? Is it more bioavailable? We're not talking about that. We are going to change your paradigm tonight from supplementation to activation, because this is truly how we are going to elevate health. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce LifeVantage and the story of activation. And Nancy, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you as you are speaking. And we're going to turn it over and start with what is activation? And what is that very first activation product that honestly the company was founded on and that people are like dying to know about?
Well, thank you so much. I hope I have all my technology down here. I so apologize. I should have slides. I should have all the fancy stuff, but I don't. For me, it's just easier to just have the conversation. And in so doing, I'm hoping that that's going to help others to be able to do that too. Because first and foremost, I want to say how honored I am to be here with these incredibly amazing people. They're not only the brilliance that you heard about, but they're just kind and giving people that really care about others. And that's why we're all here, because we were part of, instead of a wellness thing, we were part of a sickness program. We were part of not really being able to help people maybe put Band-Aids on it only, but in the process, we've learned that we can go past that. And that's what I love about activation, because really, truly, to understand that first, I'm going to kind of switch it up on you. I want to talk a little bit first about our pathways. And one of the primary pathways, our Nrf2 pathway, was something that started really being understood and looked at in the 90s when some of the studies started coming out. And basically what they found out was they were looking for what was controlling genes. In the 90s, they discovered we had these genes and DNA and all the sequencing and what was giving us all our trouble. And so they wanted to start finding, okay, what can we do about it? And so what they did was they started taking a look at what possible pathways were involved. And the master pathway, our master Nrf2 pathway is incredible because it's the master regulator of our antioxidant detoxification process. So think about all your cells and over time, and I'll go over that in a minute, but we need to be able to get the trash out. And when we're young, we're able to do that. Our body can take care of it and does it well. But as we get older, that process slows down. And so what we found was that Nrf2 pathway was so important in so many different things. they found that it was really key in, things like arteriosclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, even cancer. And all these different disease processes were when the genes started flipping the wrong way. When the genes that you have in your body are fine, and then all of a sudden they're not. And that's what happened to me. I started having rheumatoid arthritis issues in my 20s. And then I went a step further, and because of all that inflammation that was occurring, I ended up with breast cancer. And I'm so grateful today that we have the ability to activate our bodies in a manner that our own body is capable of helping us to have better health. And so that's what that Nrf2 pathway does. And when I'm talking about the pathway cleaning things up, the reason that needs to be clean, we have our cell. It has something called mitochondria, the little engines in it. They take in food and oxygen, and they give us the energy that cell needs to do its function. But we build up the trash of that. And when we build up that trash, it's actually an oxygen that's uncoupled. And when that's uncoupled, it bounces around and causes all kinds of issues. Now, we need a little bit of that because that's how our body heals, a little inflammation, a little healing. But when it becomes overwhelming and we don't have the Nrf2 pathway to neutralize it, then it becomes a problem. And so what are the problems we see with oxidative stress? Well, it's accelerated aging, right? For starters. We also see increased inflammation is the huge one, the big inflammation processes. What does that do? That ruins our metabolism. So you don't have your blood sugars operating properly, your blood vessels operating properly. And oh my goodness, what does that do with our brain? Inflammation in the brain is, something Brett's going to be talking about in a minute. And guess what? That weakens our immune system, and then our whole body starts breaking down. So it's really important that we have this Nrf2 pathway operating. And so what we found in our flagship product, when they came out with this product, they took 5, and they did a lot of different combinations to try to figure this out. But they ended up finding 5 nutrients blended together in tiny amounts, not big amounts, not supplement amounts like massive amounts, but tiny amounts that activate the body, turns it back on. Because what does our body want? Food, correct? So those ingredients were things like turmeric root, green tea, bacopa, ashwagandha, milk thistle. And people hear about those all the time. Oh yeah, I take milk thistle. Oh yeah, I take this. The thing is, when they're taking it, they're taking rather large doses and supplementing. And it's trying to shove this pathway we're talking about. What we want to do is we just want to activate it to turn back on again. When it activates, it does it in balance. And it does it in a manner that allows the body to turn on and off the gene expressions that we need. And in that process, we end up seeing that it's going to help the cells fight those free radicals, those oxygens that are uncoupled, that it's going to help to neutralize those. It's going to regulate our survival genes. That's the messenger that's telling our bodies what it's supposed to do and helps our genes protect themselves, right? We're going to slow down the rate of the body in terms of how it's breaking down. And in the process, we're the only ones proven to reduce that oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, okay? And the other thing about supplementation versus activation, when we're taking supplements on a 1-to-1 ratio, the antioxidant is going to break down one free radical, 1-to-1. When we're turning on our own, it's millions to 1 every second. You just can't get that in enough when we supplement. You've got to be able to activate. So the true activation story in our company is that we have multiple pathways that others are going to be talking about in a minute. And we have the ability today, through science and through how we get our ingredients and how we blend them together, that's going to help those pathways to go back to how they're supposed to react versus what happens when they're under a lot of stress. So I hope that was helpful. And, for me, the key is that activation is really, truly the true step to wellness again. And I love that part of it. Nutrigenomics, tiny amounts of nutrients, flipping back on those good genes for activation. Okay.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Nancy, thank you so much, you guys. And for those of you that were already like, whoa, I'm overwhelmed, let me just make sure that you understand that when we talk about activation, we're turning on pathways, proteins, enzymes inside of us we already have. But due to our lifestyle, the world, the toxins, the pesticides, the chemicals, our food sources not being nutrient dense, we just can't operate at the highest level. And when we supplement, it's really helping with a deficiency, right, Dr. Nancy? And so therefore, it's barely moving the needle. And when we activate and turn back on our pathways again, then the body's like, oh, thank you very much. I feel like I'm 20 again. Let's go to work. And so the beautiful thing about activation is really how we were designed. We were designed as a well-oiled machine. And when you start taking these products to activate our cells, we feel that again. And truly, this product here, which I'm going to give you guys a fancy one, this that you see here is Protandim Nrf2. This was the very first activation product that was formulated. And not only does this turn on all of your survival genes that Dr. Nancy was talking about, but one of the gene pathways is your antioxidants. And I think every single one of us is very familiar with your antioxidant pathways of whether it's SOD, catalase, or glutathione. And glutathione, right, Nancy, is like the master antioxidant. People are out there trying to get glutathione in their body every way, shape, or form, but this can upregulate glutathione in your body by up to 300%. And if anybody wants to go check out PubMed, you can find over 30 peer-reviewed published studies on this beautiful product. So that really set the stage for what we're about to come into. So Nancy, thank you absolutely so much. And I know this has changed your life. It's changed the lives of so many people that you've known, and not only humans, but so many animals in the world as well.
So exactly, as it says, in mammals.
In mammals, right?
Including dolphins and curacao.
There we go. There we go. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to move forward and we're going to move over to Dr. Sveta Silverman. And Dr. Sveta is going to continue this dialogue of activation, but really looking at obviously the microgut because the gut is so essential. And as that works into the next two activation products of Nrf1 and Protandim NAD. So Dr. Sveta, I'm going to let you take it away. We can see your slides. Yep, we can see it amazing.
Okay, awesome. So you guys can see the screen, right? Oops, and I'm already clicking the wrong slides. So first of all, an honor to be here. Thank you very much. I am, sometimes I am mesmerized by the caliber of people not in the company. It's just the caliber of healthcare professionals and practitioners, and I'm not going to minimize anybody else, but the caliber of these, the caliber of those doctors. You guys, I mean, it's impossible to actually accolade Dr. Nancy. And sometimes I don't like to say Dr. Nancy. I like to say Dr. Brian. That's how I like, like there's Dr. Bill, but there's Dr. Brian. There's Dr. Brian, there's Dr. Brimhall, there's Dr. Bueller, because that's how we introduced in the clinic, in the hospital, to the patients, right? But then when somebody calls us Dr. Nancy or Dr. Jess or Dr. Brad, that's love. That's a trust. That's a recognition. If somebody calls me Dr. Sveta, it means that somebody got a piece of my heart. And upon the credentials, medical or scientific credentials of every one of them, and guys, there are so many more that maybe Kelly and Arthur are going to continue with the series, because we're missing couple Ds that are absolutely incredible with more credentials than all of us have. So that's what I'm trying to say. And I was picking on Nancy's presentation and sort of, what Kelly said, let's say, and then what I'm going to do. So I was absolutely mesmerized by lashes. Why? because lab shows do the brain. They do the nervous system. They do neuroplasticity. So going through 2 medical schools, I was taught when nerve cells are dying or dead, that's it, they're done. But in a sense, nobody tells you that what is the percentage of the brain we're actually utilizing? And it's what I think, what is it, under 20, 30, or something even less than that. So the capacity of the neuroplasticity is tremendous, but the capacity of neuroplasticity is not going to be utilized if you're not utilizing the power of mitochondria, something like that, because so for example, guys, just, I'm sort of, it's not in my slides, but they got me going on it. So let's say, let me give you an example. Some of the nerve cells in the brain, they contain over 1 million of mitochondria, right? So ganglion, the dopamine, the ones that they make dopamine, the substantia nigra, they contain over 1 million mitochondria per cell. That's why maybe the rate of Parkinson's disease is horrendous. And that's why Parkinson's disease is entirely hooked up with oxidative stress and gut and microgut deficiency. How many papers are written on Parkinson's disease and the beginning of the disease is a constipation for decades before? What is that? That's a gut and a microgut. But the thing is, we need to realize that that mitochondria needs oxygen and need to function. And it makes garbage. What's a garbage? Garbage is an oxidative stress. That's what Nancy was talking about. And if there is, so then Kelly brought up something else, which is called glutathione, which is a master antioxidant of the cell. And it's not about supplementation. It's about making it. It's about activation those cells to make it. So that glutathione is going to clean that free radical damage or other damage so that mitochondria can thrive and give oxygen and give energy to the cells in the brain. That's why when we are aging, what do we have? We have a brain fog. What do we have? We have memory lapses. What is the major concern of the Western world? Is an Alzheimer's disease. But what's Alzheimer's disease? In a sense, it's a diabetes type 3. So we're linking and linking and linking to exactly what we're talking about. Okay, now what is mitochondria? Well, guys, if we go back into evolution, mitochondria used to be a bug, right? So now, so let me tell you something. I actually think that two most important parts to our health is our gut/microgut and our mitochondria. Because without that, health doesn't exist. That's just my point on it. And that's why maybe I am so tied up with what we're doing. So, okay, look at this. So mitochondria, and there is another thing that I cannot move. It's a profile. Oh, got rid of it. So mitochondria. So, and now I'm clicking the slides and it's not working. Oh, I'm just good with technology. Just working, just absolutely awesome for me. If I can have
You got it, Sveta. I think there's a little button to the far left. There's a little arrow to the left. You can click and go.
There you
Perfect.
There you go. So now, microgut is connected to mitochondria and vice versa. By the time I was flipping, you probably were reading. The microbiome and mitochondria interact through various signaling pathways and metabolites. Mitochondrial dysfunction can alter gut microbiome composition and activity. Gut microbiota can influence mitochondrial function. Mitochondrial metabolites, such as involved in the electron transport chain. From there, I will hook you up with NAD. We're not talking some sort of exotica. We're not talking about some, activation, supplementation, something that a voodoo thing. We're talking something that is essential for life, period. End of story. can also impact gut microbiome composition and activity. Let's try next slide. Woohoo, it worked. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Sorry, I'm just flipping and it just drives me nuts. Okay, got it. Now, mitochondrial dysfunction. Now, the thing is, guys, it may be a little bit too complicated, but that's okay. So the structure of mitochondria, we cannot damage it, right? So membrane need to be intact. And mitochondria is like a canary in a coal mine. Mitochondria is vulnerable. So we're talking genes, we're talking nucleus, it's protected. It has a very thick envelope. Mitochondria is naked. So it's a canary in a coal mine. So the garbage affects it. Garbage is affecting it to become dysfunctional. Dysfunctional will lead to bad things. The number of functional mitochondria, extremely important. The thing is, we need to realize, why are we knocking on every door? Why are we talking about this today? Because the older you get, let's say starting 20, we start thinking, when we're 20 plus, we start thinking aging. Because starting from 20 plus, we start losing mitochondria. So, and that's what it is. So why are we talking something that is called mitochondrial biogenesis, aka making new mitochondria? So the idea is we need to make new and we need to support the old ones. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Now, NAD plus. Mitochondria, right? Mitochondria is an absolute, it's not just the energy production. Nancy, don't take any pictures. We'll get a recording. I'll send you PowerPoint. So the thing is, so mitochondria, it's not just the powerhouse. It is. So here's the deal. Okay, you can have your Lamborghini, but the engine is not working. What is your Lamborghini to you? So, so energy, mitochondria is literally energy. No energy, no life. But mitochondria is actually a police. Mitochondria is the one who controls the genes. But then for mitochondria to give us energy, there are a whole bunch of reactions and stuff. And these reactions are not going to happen without NAD. They're just not going to happen. Now, without NAD, we ain't going to have glutathione. Because with this NAD, there is recycling of glutathione. And then I'm going to talk to you about without NAD. I mean, we need to recycle NAD. Now, I like this, and I like you to concentrate on the upper part of this because the lower part is a little complicated. You see the circle, the connection of microgut and the mitochondria. And they even look alike, this mitochondria and some bugs. But then look at this. So as you see, so this is your bloodstream, and this is your bowel. And where are the bugs? The bugs are attached to the bowel wall. So what's going to happen? What is this? This is recycling of NAD. And where is it? It's in the lumen of the gut. That's why it's like one hand is rubbing and holding the other, and nothing is going to happen otherwise. Now, so for example, probiotics. First, we're going to talk a little bit of on probiotics, and then we're talking about on microgut diversity. So I took Probio as one of our products is a probiotic. And as you see, there are, 5 species or something like that. And why? Well, these 5 species, for example, they are producing something. The end product is what is called short-chain fatty acids. So those short-chain fatty acids play a crucial role in gut health, and they're contributing to various beneficial effects, and then they are doing this. They are helping mitochondria. They are helping multiple anti-inflammatory processes. Now, look at this. short-chain fatty acids and secondary bile acids have been reported to regulate energy production and activate something that is called AMP kinases. Fine. What are the AMP kinases? Without thinking, they're going to help us with mitochondrial biogenesis. We already mentioned anti-inflammatory processes. Now, when I was talking, showing you the composition of probia, there is something there that is called bifidum species. Okay, it's a live presentation, and I have animals. So, so one of the species in probia is bifidobacterium species. And bifidobacterium are the major producer of butyrate, one of the short-chain fatty acids. And that butyrate has been demonstrated to rescue the respiration of bowel cells, to produce something that I'm not going to get into details, something to facilitate energy, mitochondrial energy. Everything is linked. However, what I'm missing here is that that's not part of my presentation. Well, short chain fatty acids are entirely linked to one thing that is called L cells. And L cells are linked to something that is called GLP-1. So you guys, so we're not talking about this, but the threesome of the MB and the GLP pattern with microgut activation, L cells activation, and the GLP-1 receptors activation, that's what it is. It's another part. Now, so I told you, I am a fan of probiotics. I'm not a fan of probiotics. Why? What is the gut diversity? How many species are in our gut? Some say 500, some say 750, and some say 1,000. Have you seen a probiotic with a 500 species? Have you seen a probiotic with 1,000 species? So, taking probiotic, it's a temporary thing, and you don't want to overwhelm the microgut diversity that this is disbalanced. So what you need to reboot, boost, and sustain and increase the diversity of your microgut. So how do you do that? You do that through eating prebiotics or taking prebiotics. Because again, we get older, so we need some activation and we need some boost. So these are some of the ingredients in our prebiotic. So what do? They improve, they work on our microgut diversity. Now, the thing is, again, we were talking about short chain fatty acids. So now we're going into, what is it? What are the short chain fatty acids? It's a postbiotic. It's an end product of the bugs. So what is daily wellness? It's in a sense, it's an end product of the bugs. And so I really wanted to sort of, touch base on postbiotic on daily wellness because it is linked to natural killer cell activity. And I don't think actually there is nothing more important in our immune system than proper activation, the proper number of natural killer cells. They're the main actors in our very sophisticated immune system. But you need to understand that every cell basically has the same composition and has mitochondria and has, so it's all linked. It's all tied up. That's why it is so very, very important. Now, okay, now we're getting to mitochondria. So what is the, like, so there are two parts to the mitochondrial health, right? It is the number of the mitochondria and the function of the mitochondria. And Nrf1, the composition of Nrf1 protandum is so absolutely amazing, because when we start looking into acetylcarnitine, coenzyme Q10, quercetin, they are all playing role in promoting mitochondrial biogenesis, but they're also an integral part of the mitochondrial function. Like coenzyme Q10 have been shown to stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis in some experimental cells, a model for neurodegenerative disorders. And I believe that Lepsius, both of them, Kelly and Arthur, they're kind of familiar with neurodegenerative disorders. So quercetin has been demonstrated to increase mitochondrial biogenesis, same in neuronal cells. Now, not only that, the same composition are thought to play a role in supporting mitochondrial function and reducing effect. Coenzyme Q10 is a crucial component of mitochondrial electron transport, the function of mitochondria. Same thing, essential for energy production. Acetylcarnitine and quercetin may play a protective effect against mitochondrial damage and oxidative stress. We all know that acetylcarnitine, coenzyme Q10, and quercetin, they're also called senolytics. And we need to sustain mitochondria in order to sustain not aging. How can I put it? I'm looking for, like, a kinder word for aging, not aging. Now, NAD. Supplementation of NAD is a big deal. People spend a lot of money to have an IV NAD and stuff. So how do we make NAD? So there are 3 pathways. So we can eat it, then we can supplement with this. But the most important part is us. That's why we're talking activation. We need to make our cells function like Nancy said, like a clock, like exactly like we were born, that capacity of the cells. So that the most important pathway to me is actually a salvage pathway. It's a recycling. And that pathway fails us when we age. It is not functioning. Look at this. It's recycled through that pathway. We're recycling NAD, and that's where NAD protandum come on board, because it participates in those reactions that fails to function. The pathway is critical to maintain adequate NAD plus, which are essential for various cellular processes. We'll already talk about it. Energy metabolism and DNA repair. Well, if you repair DNA, you don't mutate DNA, right? So that's a good thing. Now, okay, now we're getting serious. So guys, look at this. We already kind of mentioned that we need microgut. Why do we need microgut? We need microgut to take care of this and other things. We need this guy to take care of this. Well, sirtuins then is going to activate this, and this is going to stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis. And this is all part of this genetic, epigenetic, and mitochondrial milieu. And it's actually all, it may look complicated. It's actually very simple if we just do the right things for ourselves. We don't want something that is called metabolic aging. This is the composition of NAD+, we know that, and that's how we need to eat, maybe, and that's how we need to activate, And thank you so, so very much.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Sveta. Okay, those of you that were like, oh my gosh, I'm so into this in the genetics and the biochemistry, you're in. And others of you were like, oh my God, what just happened to me? All I want you guys to understand is the fact that Dr. Sveta was talking about this beautiful synergy of why our body can help support these three products. So the flagship product Dr. Nancy Bryan was talking about, which is per tandem Nrf2. Then you add in per tandem Nrf1 and per tandem NAD. These are not precursors. These are activators that help your body to get to do the work. And along the way, as Sveta was talking about the microgut, there are, I don't know, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of probiotics, prebiotics, gut products on the market. This isn't to sell anybody. This is just to understand that the synergy, when you take a probiotic with the right bugs and a prebiotic to support it, this microgut support helps you with this whole pathway of truly an anti-aging synergy. And so it is designed to work together to truly activate the body. Oh my gosh, Sveta, that was so brilliant, so amazing. We thank you so, so much. She's like, no, I love this because people want the science and then people go, do I really want the science? Because that was complicated. I want to try to uncomplicate it for you guys because it is beautiful that the body was designed. We take it for granted. It was designed so perfectly, but really there's so much happening. Thank you, Seta. All right, you guys, we're going to move on. I know tonight is going to be long, but I will tell you, it is worth your health in hundreds of thousands of dollars to stay with us. Next, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Brett Brimhall. And Dr. Brett is going to continue with what Dr. Sveta was talking about the brain, because yes, Dr. Arthur and I are not on here tonight as really participants, but our love and our passion has been brain injury, neuroplasticity, traumatic brain injury, concussion, stroke, neurological disorders. And all I can tell you is, the body's the miracle if given what it needs. And so, Brett, I'm going to turn it back over to you to really help people understand energy of the brain and be able to make the brain is not just any energy and why we have such a special, really, I'll say two products that you're going to talk about because people would never ever think the second product has anything to do with brain, but it has everything to do with brain. So Dr. Brett, take it over. It's all yours.
I'm super excited to be with you tonight and just always humbled by the presence of you guys, you giants, both your knowledge, your hearts, and your desire to serve. And so I'm just excited to be here. I want to kind of paint a picture for you of why this is so critical and why it's so important. So if you're healthcare providers or in the healthcare space, what we want you to understand is that this is real. Like what we have and what we're sharing has absolutely changed our ability to practice and help the people that have trusted us with our degrees and with coming into us. And it wasn't because most of us were looking for something. Okay, so I want you to know it's real. And if you need to do your homework, please, after the fact, go back, read the studies and stuff like that. But that wasn't what got my attention. It was a patient's life that changed because he started activating his body. So what we're sharing is vastly different than supplementation, vastly different. And for those of you that are just here wondering, like, couldn't this possibly help me? I want you to understand, we're trying to solve a very big problem in our society today when it comes to the mental health space or when it comes to brain health. Dr. Amen talks about, we need to talk about mental health in the terms of brain health. And so to have a healthy brain, the brain needs very specific things. And we're not talking about supporting it. We're talking about activating it. So all the things that Dr. Sveta talked about and Dr. Bryant talked about are key to understanding, like, all these processes happen in your body all the time. How you feel today is a result of how well those systems are working. Right. So if you live in a really clean community, because stuff just kind of cleaned up on its own, it's kind of cool. But you've also been in communities where it's not. So if your body feels like that, that's because you're not as activated as you could be. So if you're not applying this science yet, I'm super hopeful for you. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple of slides. I'm going to summarize, and I promise to keep it simple and short. But if you want more in-depth science, great. You can do some digging. But I want you to understand that we're in a severe problem right now when it comes to brain health. The most feared disease on the planet is not cancer, it's dementia. And so, and it's much bigger than that, because we need to start taking care of our brain now, not when symptoms show up. And so here's a really cool slide from Dr. Amen, talks about just brain and the pictures of the brain. If you want to look at what's called spec image, is really cool. You can see how a brain functions. And when you do certain things to it, good or bad. All right. So here's kind of the nuts and bolts. This is back in 2008. All this study is talking about 4 of the 10 leading causes of disability in the U.S. are tied to mental disorders. And they said, hey, guess what? We really know that this can be explained by nutritional deficiencies in brain. Dr. Braverman, who's an MD, his book is called The End of Alzheimer's. And one of the key components to him is making sure the brain gets the nutrients that it needs. Now, we're going to go beyond that and talking about not just the nutrients that you need, because there's lots of nutrients out there. There's lots of supplements out there. So the supplements you're using are answering the question that was asked when they were made. So if you're saying, how do I get more L-carnitine, or how do I get more N-acetylcysteine? If you're asking that question, then you're going to talk about an ingredient. Well, we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is understanding there are gene pathways that regulate how well your body performs certain tasks, how well it makes energy, how well it cleans up, and also how well you form a thought. So when it comes to brain health, a healthy brain is a brain that can learn, retain, remember, and recall. It's resilient. Now, it takes a lot of things to happen with that, and I love what Dr. Savetta said about mitochondrial health. Understand, this stuff's happening all the time, but it's happening based upon what you're giving it. Now, we know there's a problem with this in society because of this. So I know none of you on here would drink a soda or drink an energy drink because you're tired or you need energy. So a tired brain is a brain that struggles with learning, that struggles with focus, that struggles with concentration, that struggles like being resilient. That's a tired brain. So what do you reach for when you feel those feelings? And there's huge markets out there making tons of money tied to being tired. All right, so understand this is a big problem, and it's not getting better because we're not talking about solving it in the right way. If this is your first exposure to what's known as nootropics or activation, bless you. You now know. And I really believe if we knew better, we could do better. But we don't have the advertising dollars as pharmaceuticals or other big companies. But I want you to understand that we need more people sharing this message because there are people out there that need it. All right, here's Axio. It's a liquid brain food. And when you look at the ingredients, don't do what I did. I just doesn't look that special. That was my words. I said, just doesn't look that special. Hey, there's some good things in it. Yeah, it makes sense. But, why would you put this with that? Like, why would you put a common agent like L-theanine in it with something that's kind of a stimulant, which would be considered, green tea? Why would you put those together? And why'd you put them in the ratios you did? You can look each of one of these ingredients up in PubMed and find out, hey, these are really cool ingredients. But okay, but why together? And no matter what energy you look at, or no matter what thing you look at out there, nootropic is why was it formulated? Axio was formulated to address brain fatigue. Why does the brain give up? Whether that's an athlete, whether that's a child, whether that's a mom, why is the brain giving up? Why is it calling it quits? It's because it's not activated. And when a brain can't be activated long enough, it turned into symptoms. Symptoms long enough go to the doctor, they're given a diagnosis, that then the person feels like they're damaged. We can shift that, but let's start sooner than later. Because people are trying. Like if you're drinking energy drink, if you're drinking coffee because you need that lift, if you're eating sugar, like you are tired, your brain is tired. So let's do something different. All right. So here's a visual description of what I saw in one of my nephews. And I just a little guy, oldest 6 kids, he was 9 at the time. And when we gave him Protandim Nrf2 and Axio, his handwriting changed. So the handwriting is a very specific task, right, to control the movement. But he also went from a child that struggled in behavior and learning and focus to one that began to excel in school, began to excel socially. And this has been with 2 of my nephews. because their brain weren't activated. And when it was activated with a specific nutrigenomic based product that regulates genes and responses, the brain was able to learn better. It was able to retain more efficiently. It was able to recall more appropriately, which led the individual to more confidence. That's what activation does for the brain when it's designed that way. All right. Now, there's so much more to this.
Yeah, and Brett, can I pause you for just one quick second? Because I want to tell everybody out there that, like, I had a little boy and he told me, Coach Kelly, I feel like my brain was trying to look or perform through cloudy glasses. And after I took this, it was like somebody cleaned my glasses. Yep. So I want you guys to know the power behind what this is amazing. And whether it's a kid saying this or all of my women running through perimenopause, menopause saying, holy smokes, I didn't even know my brain fog was so bad until it wasn't bad, right? Until they started drinking this and their brain cleared back up again. So this is real for every single one of us in the world today because of the multi-distractions, everything that's happening. Our brain is more under stress and fatigue than ever before. So thank you for that, Brett. And I'm gonna let you continue.
So just know, like, I use this predominantly for myself because I know what my family history looks like. So I'm doing things preventatively, and also, like, I focus a lot better when I'm on this. And I also know I can get more done. I'm more in the zone. So this is critical, in my opinion, that we should use as a daily thing. Because if you're using those other things that I mentioned, you know you need this. And that's not making it better. It's not cumulative in the positive. You have to get higher and higher doses. Super cool. Now, you know you've had, because you felt that fog, you felt that lift. And so just know this is something you'll feel. Now, I'm going to kind of spin gears a little bit and talk about the framing of the body. Everybody's seen a house be built, and it doesn't look like a house till framing starts. Right? It just doesn't. So the framing in our body is known as collagen. And we all see it because we wake up one morning, look in the mirror, like, oh my gosh, who's that old person looking back at me? Or it's like, man, I just don't recover like I used to from my workouts. Like I'm losing my muscle mass, right? All these things are tied to what's called collagen. So following the same principle of activation, we just don't need ingredients. We have to have the assembly line turned on that make the things, right? So when it comes to collagen, your fibroblast makes the collagen. You can give it all the ingredients you want, but it's not gonna maximize the production of it unless that assembly line is turned on. So foundationally speaking, when LifeVantage formulates something, we understand the genes that regulate the process and we target the gene. How do we optimize the genes to turn on the switches we want and downregulate the genes that break the stuff down? So when you look at this picture, this is the collagen density difference when the activating ingredient that's in our collagen, ruby red quinoa, is there. Combined with what's called peptides, there's small structures of collagen, multiple types, the collagen density drastically increases. Now, when I was exposed to this, I wasn't super excited about a collagen because I've had people take them for decades and not get results. And it makes sense to take it, but if you don't see results, like, well, what's the benefit? Well, this is an absolute game changer. Here's an image of somebody that had been activated with liquid collagen over a year. Look at the difference in what you see. Now, mind you, what you see on the outside is also happening inside. Now, when we started seeing these pictures come out, I'm like, okay, that's weird. But why is that working when I know other people are taking collagen? But again, understand LifeVantage and what we do, we activate it. And so I had several of my family members take it. One particular, she's had an Achilles tendonitis for a really long time. Feet would bother her really bad in the morning. And within a week, like she would get up and not hurting, her feet won't hurt anymore. And so I started sharing some of these pictures. My brother's an orthopedic surgeon. He said, I think I want to try that stuff because he's lost some hair from stress. And then he works crazy hours. Those guys are hard on their bodies. They work like 80 hours a week. And I said, okay, I'm not going to let you try it, but you can buy 6 months worth. Because I knew if he took 6 months worth, it would give him the result I wanted him to experience. So he knew that it really did a thing. Well, here's an individual that's obviously, crazy successful in his practice, highly sought after, but also slightly skeptical, right? Within a short period of time, I called him up and said, hey, what are you noticing? Just checking on you. So, well, I just noticed, like, my joints don't bother me, like, or my foot's not bothering me. I'm playing basketball more often, which is what he loves. And that continued until when he was almost out of product. Hey, can I buy another 6 months? I said, no, but you can get it on your own. And shortly thereafter, he said, I want to actually become a consultant and share this with my patients because of the result I'm getting. Now, one of the things we saw that wasn't expected was we saw individuals like this. Individuals that were having very unique experiences with this activated collagen that were struggling with processes where the immune system was involved. Where for some reason, like their body was attacking itself. And there's a whole list of those. And so because we are seeing this result consistently, we at LifeVantage, and I say LifeVantage went back and did some studies. So why is this doing this? Because we know collagen is important. We know it's critical for everything in your body, but why are we seeing that response? Well, here was the result of the study. But I'm going to just summarize this, okay? Just because you don't need to like not know all this, but here's what I want you to know. Because we look at genes, all right, in simple terms, the product of healthy goal essential stack, which is collagen and the Nrf2, protandim Nrf2, it said fibroblasts are able to stop sending unnecessary signals for the immune responses that become hyperreactive, and to stop sending for immune responses that may become hyperreactive and cause more damage. They can recover from constant stress, like by supporting balanced immune reactions. They can help restore optimal functions through collagen production and formation, promote stronger, more resilient tissues. Now, that's a big deal. So think about what that means for anybody that has struggled and the body's not responding because maybe the repair is not happening because the immune system is dysregulated, which that's a lot of people. We saw those changes. That's because when you combine the activation of getting your body to a repair mechanism on, get the mitochondrial to function better, and you give it the right materials activating, you can change things. So here's what I want to leave you guys with is this. I know this is new, but I hope you heard something from me that I wonder if. So as Foundation, as a chiropractor, we believe, this is our philosophy, that the body heals itself. And I believe the body wants to heal itself. The key is, how do we get that natural healing force within each one of us to do greater? It's through activation. So whatever products you're currently using, if they were designed with the intent of just giving you a better supplement, that's what it will do. But if you're using things that have been designed to activate cellular processes that have been proven and patented and studied, that's what you're going to get. So super grateful to be a part of this with you. Hopefully this is helpful, but we need more people sharing this message. We know more practitioners like these amazing people I'm a part of here to take the message forward.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Brett, so much. And for those of you, in case you're like, okay, what was that Axio? How do I get it? You guys, it's super, super simple. You buy it. It's a little bit of it. It's like a stick. You can just dump it in water. You just shake it up. You drink it. And so I love it because I've had infants take this. Everything to, like over my 80-year-old mom on the golf course taking it. So it's really, really easy. And then the last thing Dr. Brett was talking about of the study, this was the study of protandim Nrf2 and liquid collagen together that activates the genes of your cellular stress defense mechanism, which is seeing so many people that are having all sorts of dysregulation issues seen to help their progress. So you guys, we're going to go into one more activation product. Thank you for hanging on with us tonight. But I want you to know that these of what you just heard are huge and so big. But what you're about to hear is what the news and the American people right now think is even a bigger topic. But it all pulls together because Dr. Silverman actually keyed us up for this earlier when she was talking about the microgut and the L cells. And Dr. Jessica Bueller is going to bring it home, you guys, to talk about the importance of the gut and our all-natural mind-body GLP-1 system. So Dr. Jessica Bueller, over to you.
Okay, everyone, we're all still here, right? I just want to start by saying that LifeVantage does the same thing every single time, and you're going to see it over and over and over again. And it's what keeps us here. And that's research, patents, results. And we have a corporate staff that really is visionary in what they're doing. And our research and development team works directly with our scientific advisory board, which we are all so humbled to be a part of, where they actually listen to us and see what we're seeing in the field and create products that solve problems. And so it may seem a little overwhelming if this is your first time and you're seeing all of these products, but just know that your body is that too. It is a lot of pathways. It's a lot of systems working together. There's no, in medicine, you break everything into different parts and you specialize in just one thing, but there's no one part of you that is not impacted by another part of you. It's sort of like we could talk about one pathway, but without talking about how they interact, we're missing part of that as well. But also, what's big in the news right now? What are the big things people are talking about and researching are oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, and metabolic dysfunction. And we have solutions for all of those issues here, right here. And with products that have the years of research, have the patents, and then therefore have the results. So I am excited to get to talk to you about the buzz in the world, which is the word GLP-1. And I want to also reflect on activation being, we're taking something so that we're making something. Instead of just taking it, we are taking it so that our body will make it. And there is power in our synergistic blends. You may look at the back of the bottle and have that thought like Dr. Brimhall did, where you're like, well, what's so special about it? And that's where the something special about it is really the exponential benefit of what happens when they all come together. With Nrf2, it's 1,800 times more effective than taking the components separately. And then there's another synergy when we put our tri-synergizer together. We have the studies to show that, you guys. The Nrf2 and collagen study, the same thing. And Dr. Bremhall mentioned that. I mean, it's just layer upon layer upon layer. And this product that I get to speak to you about, we have a study on that with our Nrf2 as well. But just knowing that we have these interplays in our body, and the more things that we can just activate versus supplement, that's what really makes the difference. So if you're a physician and you're here, I'm so glad somebody invited you, and just know somebody cared about you. They cared about you enough to ask you to come here. And if you're a physician, you're probably skeptical and you're probably thinking, this is going to be a baggie at the end of my week that I'm going to drop in the garbage. And because I was there, that was what I thought this would be. This is going to be another baggie I'm going to throw away at the end of the week. And if you leave here with nothing else besides, I'm going to look into more of this research on your own, like look at the studies, read them. I mean, there's no way we can possibly tell you in an hour or in 5 minutes on one pathway how exponentially powerful this really is. We cannot do that for you. You're going to have to open up the studies and be awed and really see the amazing changes in people, and just know that there's something inside of you that must continue to share it, that you'll be able to look out and think, if I could help one more person, just one more, it would be worth it. And that drive that you'll see when you can see what this can actually do in somebody is really what it's about. And then you'll think, like I did, all I knew about network marketing was how to avoid it. And I was really good at it until I found something different. And then I realized that this company isn't just the products that are different. It's the people here that are different. And this network marketing business model that our company specifically has, I can, other than speak for all the others, because I have yet to experience any of that. But what we have here is the most beautiful system. And every single paycheck I have earned with this company is a direct reflection of the lives I've impacted. And can you say that about yours? Can you? And it's so much more than just their health. It's changed their lives in massive ways. And so, there's more to this. There's definitely more to the science. There's more to the heart of this company. But I get to close you off on one last pathway. I'm certain you've heard of it, and I'm certain you're wondering, what you're going to learn that can help you or someone you know. Oop, wrong place. We got to share it. I love technology. Technology is my favorite thing, right after humans. These are some slides actually from Dr. Lisa Barnes talking about our GLP-1, our natural GLP-1 activator, mind body, and dual activation. So we have direct activation through the genes, and we have indirect activation through the microbiome. Again, why we have to include all of those things, because it's so important to know that it's more than just one single thing that makes a difference. So when both products are taken together, it influences expression of our genes along that pathway in the L cells. Again, Sveta started us with this, but there's a 95% activation of the GCG gene, which creates proglucagon, and that's a precursor to GLP-1. All you've heard about probably is GLP-1, you guys. And this is really showing you all of the genes that are really impacted by these products. And so when you're looking at like, how deep do we dive in and how much weeds do you want to know? There's more to it. But this 32% activation, again, of the gene that encodes for the enzyme that cleaves that into the active form of GLP-1. Come on. 53% in activation of another gene that promotes the receptors. So we're getting more receptors, we're getting more precursors to GLP-1, we're getting more GLP-1, and they all work together. We also reduce the expression of this gene that breaks down GLP-1 in our bodies. So what does that all do? It gives us a 140% increase in GLP-1. At the time that this study was published, no product could make that claim. Zero products, with a study that showed that it could do it. And we just recently published and more, because we keep researching it. Like we develop an incredible product, and then we have to get it into more people, and see what happens, and adjust, and also combine it with our other pathways, right? And we found that when you put this product with our Nrf2 protandem, we see even more genes that are activated to reduce oxidative stress even further, and help us to metabolize fats and to heal our organs and our tissues. So just like, think about that. We've heard about GLP-1 for what? Weight, right? That's the buzz. The buzz is weight, but it's so much more than weight that GLP-1 impacts. And that's where I want you to see where all these receptors are. We see neuroprotection, our brain. We see kidney protection, cardio protection. We're able to create healthy blood sugar levels, lower our insulin secretion, changes how glucagon is used. There are so many far-reaching benefits, which is why when people start this, they're just surprised that they notice right away a change in their relationship with food, their sleep, their mood. There's so many different areas that can be influenced aside from the scale. Sometimes it's change in body composition versus pounds. Sometimes it's inches. But our study showed 9 pounds lost on average in 8 weeks, and up to 25 in the 12 weeks. So look at that. Most of that weight is between week 8 and week 12, which tells us what? The longer we use it, the more that we activate, the more that GLP-1 is building up in our system, and the more that it can do the benefits. Think about that. If you had one day where you ate, I don't know, 10 donuts, right? Or if you had a donut every single day, you're testing that blood sugar, your ability to have that blood sugar be stable. One day of bad blood sugar is going to be less detrimental than every day the blood sugar is all wonky, right? Same thing with having healthy blood sugar for a longer, stable, more months, month after month after month. And again, it's one of the highest sought after issues that we are seeing: metabolic dysfunction, mitochondrial dysfunction, and high oxidative stress. 100% of those that lost didn't lose muscle, and up to 27% decrease in visceral fat. That's the scary fat that surrounds our organs. I'm sure you've all seen some of these statistics, and you can see more of this, and it really has only gotten better. The study that we just released, another study researching this formula versus our international formula, and cumulatively they saw an actual 200% increase in the GLP-1 production, and we'll have access to that new study coming out sooner too. And so how do you do that? Well, you get a bigger population of people taking it, so you have even more numbers. But if this is the thing you're looking for weight, I want to like point this out. Like, some people have this intention, they're going to take this and it's going to be this miraculous weight loss trick, right? If this is the thing that was off in you, that was creating you to hold weight or to not be able to lose, and you add this could be that magic thing that does switch the needle. If GLP-1 low is what's causing your weight gain, this could be that miraculous thing where everything changes for you, right? But it could also be where just so many other things are happening in your body and so many other layers of healing are happening that it's going to take a little time for you to see your end result. Again, looking at this gut-brain axis, look at this, the activation of PPY and what it does with the brain-gut connection that we have going on as well. I just, like I said, there's a lot of, I'm going to stop my share. There's a lot of research on just this product alone and GLP-1 and what it can do for you. And it is doing what your body needs it to do on a cellular level. That's just, there's so much confidence with activation. I'm sure I can speak for the other physicians on this call. And that's why we do research patents results, is so that we have that confidence to go and share it, because we know that on a cellular level, it's cleaning stuff up. And what that looks like in your outer world, it may change. It may not come at the same exact time frame that you want it to, but it is going to make all the difference in you if you allow it to. And I'm just really, really super thankful that everyone to be here with everyone too, and talking about this and what we're seeing, and just the interplay of those pathways. Just that reminder, we take it so that we can make it. And all of these pathways are so critical. And you can, if you're a physician, dive into this research, get the products in your body and get it in some of your hardest patients. Pick your hardest ones, the ones you're struggling the most with, and watch what happens. I mean, that's really where the rubber meets the road, you guys. It's when you really get into it, and you get that feeling of like, wow, I have to share this. I desire to share this. I love sharing it. And it lights me up to be on here listening to these people, these humans speak and share their hearts with you. But it also lights me up to know that there is no way you can make a bigger impact as a physician than in this room. No way. You give me any profession, and I hands down tell you, in this profession, you will make a bigger impact than you ever will one-on-one in your office. And I love what I do. I really do. But it's aligned and it's activated. This is it's such a powerful place to be.
Dr. Jessica, I think you're bringing everybody in tears. And I just want to show you guys the products. This mind-body system is core and enhance of what she was talking about, of this natural GLP-1 activator for true metabolic health, everybody. I am going to change our view out so you can see all of us. And I really want you guys, each and every one of you guys tonight, to understand, listen, we all want better health. As a physician, as a chiropractor, as a health coach, as a physical therapist, is we're looking for ways to improve our patients' health. We took an oath that we will do no harm and we will do whatever it takes to help people get better. I know this is a little bit of the unicorn. People think, oh my God, like Dr. Jessica was saying, network marketing. Believe me, my husband that's on here, he's here to help us answer all the questions, you guys. He ran away from network marketing for years. It's not what we were looking for. But what Dr. Jessica says is we take it to make it. There's research, patent that's proven the results. It was so undeniable that we just said, let's just see if our patients get better. And one by one by one, it was a butterfly effect. They got better and better and better. and we met more people and more people, and we met all these beautiful people, and we thought, oh my gosh, this really could be what it looks like to be a part of a wellness movement in the world. And truly what we're learning today is activation is the solution. So I really hope you dig down into the science. So before we close, Arthur, you've been scoping the chat. You've been writing down some questions. I know we've answered lots of them as we've gone along. You guys, we've gone very, very late. Thank you for being with us. I mean, you guys, we still have almost everybody here stayed with us the entire time. So thank you, thank you. It just tells you you're interested. And maybe you're just taking these products and you're like, should I? Or maybe you're a doctor like, I don't know about this. We just hoped that gave you a glimpse to want to learn more. That's the real ultimate goal, right? Is we want you to say, okay, I do want to learn more, because what is out there that I don't know that I could help my patient's health? Arthur, any questions? I know you've had a lot. I've been trying to look at them, and a lot of them got answered through the presentation tonight. We can't hear you.
Yes, how about now? Okay. Answer questions we went along tonight, but a few that have popped up here. One was I have a person who's interested in activation and is on epilepsy medication. Any concerns or guidance? So I shared that, to our knowledge, there's been no known adverse drug reactions with any of our products. When the body starts working better, they may have less need for their pharmaceutical medications. However, I would certainly provide them with the information if they need to. They can certainly talk to their doctor.
And I know Arthur's going in and out a little bit, you guys.
Any other thoughts from any of you wonderful people there?
And again, this isn't any medical advice, right?
Dr. Sveta, you want to chime in?
I think Nancy's
Right.
probably the best person. My thing is, because these cells are going to be a whole lot better activated, we need to be careful with the CYP system to make sure that the drugs are not eliminated, metabolized faster. Just need to keep an eye on the levels. And Nancy, did I put it correct?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's whenever anybody's on any form of medications and there's three things that they have to keep in mind. First and foremost, because as I spoke of initially with Nrf2, it does turn on our body's ability to start actually seeing that there's some trash around. And a lot of times when we're on pharmaceuticals, there's when the body breaks those medications down, there's things that can accumulate over time in our liver. There's things that are floating around, binders, all the kinds of things that are within. It's not just an active one thing. There's multiple things inside of a medication. And so just know and understand that as our body starts to get rid of things, you might not feel great. You might, if that first couple of weeks to a month, your body is starting to get rid of stuff. Second, to Sveta's point, you have to be careful because it may start eliminating the drug product faster. And so if you have seizure disorders and that sort of thing, while I have had excellent results in regards to people with regards to seizures, we have to be very respectful of what the causes of those are and how the medications work and disrupting that balance, if you will. So we have to go very slow. And a lot of times people think, oh, if I start taking this, I can stop taking the medication. I'm not saying that over time you can't diminish some of those meds because your body is going to start operating optimally, but we just have to be very respectful of that process and take it slow. And oftentimes if they're on things like seizure medications, for me personally, I will start people off very slow. Sometimes, depending how long they've been on the medications, I may start them with just a half of a tablet every 2 or 3 days until their body can start getting caught up. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add in on that, but to me, that's a very good question.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is I see a lot of questions regarding, hey, will this help me? Just understand this: when you make a change in diet or lifestyle, lack of sleep or more sleep, your body's going to be in the repair mode or breakdown mode. And when you are starting this, most of us are looking for a result. Maybe that result is more energy, maybe it's more focus, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's more stamina, whatever it is. Consider how long you've struggled. And for many of us, it's like not a day, not a week, not even a year. It's sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Give it time to allow the process to shift you. And just as you want to like do anything different, you have to give your body the time to adapt back. And so just be patient with that process. What we're doing, we're activating normal, natural processes in a very healthy, physiological way, not in a forced way. So the body can pick and choose. And so allow that to take place, because if you were going to change your diet and expect results in a week, you would be very disappointed. If you got better sleep for a week and you have insomnia for 20 years, it's going to take a while. So please understand where you are today as a result of the lack of activation that's been going on in your body for a really, really, really long time. This is part of the tools and processes that is a game changer for me, because it allows people to be 100% activating these pathways, versus with exercise and diet, that's just every single time. Humans, we fail at discipline. But with this, we can be more consistent, and the more parts you activate, I truly believe the better response you'll get. But also understand this is a way of life. This is a way, and if the longer you do it, the more benefits you get. Both looking at the studies and what I've seen clinically, been involved 10 years. So.
Oh my gosh, Brett, thank you. And we're going to have you guys, because it's running so late, we're going to have like one major question. I will just tell you exactly what Dr. Brett Brimhall just said is I have now, and many of us have been activated for quite some time, but I've been now activated for 11 years. And now going from 41 to 52, I feel better at 52 with energy, vibrancy, flow, everything that I ever did before. I wasn't looking to, help myself recover from a disease process. I want to live even more vibrant as I'm aging. And that's what these products can do by activating these pathways all in synergy. But the last big question, you guys, is some people are asking about the mind-body GLP-1 system. And they're kind of asking like, could this be instead of a drug? My doctor put me on it on Zepbound because of heart failure. Could this help with heart failure? Could I transition off my drug onto this? What sort of like protocol-ish or recommendations would you guys have for this mind-body system in regards to that? It's a little bit of a tricky question.
I mean, I'll just say from my perspective, I'm a chiropractor, so I don't take people on or off meds. But I truly believe if you have a physician that cares about you and you say, hey, doc, I've wondered about this. Do you see any harm in doing this? And so they know that, especially if you have a really good working relationship with your clinician. Because if you've been put on a medication, there's a reason for it. And it's because there's a lot of systems that aren't working correctly. So work with them on that. Especially if you work with having a good relationship with your physicians, I think the majority of them want to help you, but a lot of them don't know what this is. So maybe have them watch this video and just see this is what we're looking for, and then start paying attention to what we're doing at LifeVantage, because this is new for a lot of people, and a lot of physicians, it's not that they don't want to know, it's just it's never been in their wheelhouse. And it's never been an option. And so I know it's not answering you directly, but just when you start making this process, understand as you make changes, watch your body's results. So ask people to work closely with you, get lab tests done periodically. But majority of people, they're going to be great. But when you've already been on medication for a really long time, remember, your body's physiological processes have been taken over. So we can't say this is going to help that. Like that's just, I mean, and I don't want it to that. I don't want it to be a drug. If we say, hey, this product help this disease, none of us would be able to afford it. And so just we're working with normal physiological processes in the right way. So whatever you make changes, they pay attention to your health. Now, and the cool thing about the way we set up the systems, there's great, brochures and dialogues about how to make that process look.
Love that. Anybody else have any other closing thoughts on the mind-body system?
Guys, what is LifeVantage? LifeVantage is a lifestyle. LifeVantage is a lifestyle commitment. Kelly is on it for 11 years. I am on it for 13 years because cells don't lie. And the commitment to you and commitment to your health basically precipitates you not only taking the products, but changing your lifestyle and living your life to health. So when we are, and as Brad said, the MB, what it helps you, it actually gives you suggestions on your nutritional adjustments, and it gives you suggestions on your exercise adjustment. And when you start making yourself better feeling, then, things are starting to happen. And exactly what Brad said, then your clinician is going to adjust you. Never ever go off the drugs cold turkey. But when you start feeling better and looking better, and then you need to go and talk to your physician and say, listen, this is what's happening. Can we do something? Can we temper and stuff? And you need to understand the compositions in LifeVantage products, what it is. It's a physiologic activation. The drugs is a medicine. This is a physiologic activation of your cells, the way they intend to be and to work in health. But never go dumb, never go stupid. But go LifeVantage.
You guys, I think that is an absolute perfect way to close, because we're really, I mean, this is something that just the other week, Dr. Jessica Bueller said, and she says this all the time, and it's really healthy cells make healthy humans. And so we help you guys want to have healthy cells. We hope you want to help your patients have healthier cells. And we want you to have a way in technology and advancements of where it's going. LifeVantage is there. You just haven't heard about it, but you're here today because it piqued your interest to say, I'm open to hearing about it. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That is what we are all here. We're here to educate, we're here to promote health, and we're here to really create wellness around the world. So without further ado, thank you all for being here with us. Thank you, all of you presenters, amazing doctors. We love you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your caring spirit. And good night.